I'm Ron Slay, still ballin'.
I'm Josh Henley, still ballin'.
What's up? This Coach Penny Collins, and I'm still ballin'.
I'm Jamal Richardson, still ballin'.
Still balling out the sports, season 1. We're just gonna call this the Nashville Legend season. Here with someone that I've known, admired, looked up to since I was a little kid, man, in elementary school, going to see him play while he was in middle school at East. He's a trainer, mentor, just an all-around person to look up to. We're here with Jamal Richardson. Appreciate you, Jamal, for being here.
You, man.
My
Absolutely.
guy.
Absolutely.
My
Appreciate
brother.
you, man. For sure.
The first topic I really want to jump into, Mal, is like mentality when you were in high school, right? Mm-hmm. When you were in high school, Maplewood, getting a couple buckets here and there, dropping some dimes. Like, post basketball, what did you see yourself doing? Did you think, I'm going to the league, that's it? Were you like, I have open options, but what did you see yourself doing like in high school?
Man, honestly, man, coming out of Maplewood and getting a chance to go play college ball, like, I honestly I was in a place where I had to be honest with myself, you know what I mean? And so, obviously I had, everybody, when you hoop, you got aspirations playing in the league and things to that degree, but I was more realistic with my expectations and what I wanted to do with basketball. So for me, man, I think, my whole mind frame was just going to school for free and just getting an education, you know what I'm saying? And so I just didn't want my parents to have to, come out of pocket to pay for nothing, you know what I mean? So did I have aspirations of going pro? Yeah, but realistically, did I believe that I was going to be a pro? No, because again, my mind frame and what I wanted to do with basketball was just different, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I was at with it, though, for sure.
Dope, man. Appreciate you sharing that. You go play basketball, you go play D1. Like, how did you find, what you're doing now? Like, was there a time when you thought you wanted to do something else, where you, explored other things? Like, how did you get to where you are now?
Yeah, so how I kind of fell into this, it really kind of just happened, I think, by fate. I never really had aspirations of being a basketball trainer or a coach. I went to school for electrical computer engineering. And so my pops, and shout out to Pops.
Shout out to Pops.
Shout out to Pops, man. But so my Pops, he was in electrical engineering. So when I was young, he always exposed that and put me around that field. And, so that's what I really wanted to do. But during that transition, when I transferred to Tennessee State to finish my degree, I was at a place where I was still trying to find myself, because I just really, really knew that I liked engineering, but I felt like something was missing. You know what I mean? And so Spence, shout out to Cuz Spence.
Shout out to Cuz.
So Spence, when I transferred back, so Spence, he's the one that really put me around that platform of basketball training. Something I never even thought of doing. I never even thought about like, this is my aspiration. It's kind of just something I feel like was just fate. I walked into, and so once he brought me on board, and then I got had the opportunity to get into the gym and work with kids, that fire and that passion and that purpose sparked. You know what I mean? So then from that point, just ran with it from there.
That's dope, man. Shout out to Spence, shout out to Jamal, because they actually gave me my first opportunity to coach.
That's right, yeah.
So,
that's right.
They gave me my first opportunity, so definitely grateful for that. And talking about, you having Cuz there to really support you, like, how important is it to have like the right people around you, the right people guiding you into, with the unknown? And obviously, yours turned out in a positive way,
right.
But like, how important do you think it is to have like the right people around you?
Man, critical, huge. I think, one, you got to have people, like you said, people around you that's going to tell you the truth. So I had a lot of people in my corner, a support group that was honest with me from day one, you know what I mean? And so, you want to make sure that you got people that's going to push you, challenge you. But through those hard moments in life, they're going to love you, though. So regardless through successes and mistakes, just having those people that really believe in you more than you believe in yourself, And so through my phase and through my transition with training, I had moments of doubt. I had moments where I just kind of questioned things. I had moments when, I leave the gym and I'm like, is this really for me? Like, am I really supposed to be doing this? But just, picking up the phone and calling, somebody like yourself, or calling Pat, or calling Paige, my cousin, just calling those type of people that, like, nah, this is what you're supposed to be doing, so keep going. You know what I'm saying? So because, you got people that's dependent on you, you know what I mean? And so for me, without that support system, I wouldn't be where I am. So I think it's critical. You gotta have that. Otherwise, it's hard. It's hard to walk by yourself in life. You never will walk. I feel like, just me personally, I just think you'll never walk alone in life. You know what I mean? So as long as you surround yourself with the right people, you're gonna be able to push and do what you need to do.
It's hard, bro. Yeah. And in getting that support system for yourself, like, how important is it to give back what you get? So I see you being that support system for a lot of these young athletes now. Like, how important do you think, like, giving back is?
It's huge. It's huge because as much that was poured into me, as much that people prayed for me and protected me and watched over me, I feel like it's that important to be able to be that source for somebody else. Particularly for our youth. You know what I mean? And so I think the day and age where it's a lot of opportunity and a lot of advantages for kids to take advantage of, but I think it's just as important because my job is to serve. And so that's just something that I feel like that kind of just quantifies what my life is about. So I want to make sure that that I'm paying it forward, that I'm giving back. And I've always been a type of person. I don't look for validation and look for the attention of what I do, because I just love to give back. That's just a thing. So and then too, I think, and even with our pro guys, like even with our professional athletes, I think people forget that they're human. You know what I mean? And so there are moments when outside of basketball where they can have life situations like me and you do. You know what I mean? And so I think being that resource for guys to just pick up the phone and call and just talk about life. And so that, I think that component is huge in terms of just being able to look outside yourself and give yourself to others. I think is huge. You know what I'm saying? So and I just feel like in this climate and day and age with what's going on, especially with our youth, obviously with everything that's taking place in the world right now, it's very imperative, very important to do that for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Man. We know, like, basketball is a game of runs, right?
Yeah, for sure.
10-0 run, 15-0 run, maybe even a 20-0 run if you're really hooping like that. Can you think of a specific time in your journey where, like, life was on a run against you and you're like, if I'm not careful, like, life might dub me and I'm gonna have to put the sticks down and figure something else out, where just you had to take that 30-second time out to kind of reevaluate what was going on inside your huddle or what you were doing, but just kind of a time where life just continually felt like it was scoring on you and you couldn't get a bucket?
Oh man, that's a great question, actually. Probably I would say when I first got started in growing my brand and got started in training, it was supremely hard because I just felt like I was put in positions and situations where I just felt like I couldn't catch a break. It's like, with prime example I use for gym space. That's one of the hardest things when you first get started. Is one of the hardest things to do is get gym space. So for me, it was always having to, find some sort of. If I found a gym, I always had to try to make sure I found 2 or 3 other alternatives. But a lot of times when I try to get those, they wouldn't even fall through. So now I'm really just banking on, if I got this space, I got to make it count. But if I don't, like, I'm screwed, and I don't have no income coming in. And that, so it was kind of, I had a stretch. I'll never forget this. Probably like 2014, 2015. And you know what I'm saying, I was, took a huge hit, took a sacrifice, because, I'm working, I'm jumping in the water of entrepreneurship, working for myself. So, low on funds, sacrifice, low on money. And it was one moment where it was just like, I had a gym, I had about 9 to 10 workouts lined up. And then I get a phone call. I get a phone call from the guy that I got the gym from, and he scheduling mix up, but it completely bumped me off. And I was dependent on that because, you know, financially I needed that, you know, that money at that time. So, but when I got that call, man, I hear, you know, I was just like, man, forget it. Like I can't, like, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? I was finna like just remove and just stop everything. You know what I'm saying? So, but having a moment and opportunity to just regroup and kind of just regather, like you said, when you go on those runs, just taking that time to call that time out, you know, get your thoughts together, get your mind together, and find ways to dig yourself out the hole, find ways to fight back. You know what I'm saying? And so, but that's probably one of the moments, man, where, you know, it was just kind of like, you know, I feel like the odds are stacked against me. I couldn't catch a break. You know what I mean? But those moments I appreciate because it made me who I am. Because you got to find a way to be resilient. You know what I'm saying? Champions, all champions do. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have adversity, you're gonna get hit, but you got to find a way. You got to find a way to, you know, get over the top and find a way to win. You know what I mean? So that was my moment though, for sure.
Never deny the heart of a true champion. I think John Wooden said that. Yeah. You talked about overcoming adversity. What other skills do you feel like you got from playing sports your entire life that you use now, like resiliency? What are some of those skills that you use now that you got from sports?
One, definitely leadership. Leadership is something I was uncomfortable with at first, but when I got to high school, my coaches, you know, really, you know, held me accountable to being a leader. But then being a leader, you have to learn how to find your voice, because leadership, you know, everybody has different styles of leadership. And so I wasn't as vocal as I am now, but I did mine through action. So, you know, just making sure that I'm the first one there, last one to leave, making sure that I'm, you know, going hard in all drills and doing everything proper, doing everything necessary for our team to win, because I was about winning. Another skill I would probably say is being selfless, you know, being a team player, you know, realizing that it's not going to be about you, you know what I mean? So you got to understand who you are, what your role is, and be great at that, you know? So finding ways to be effective in giving myself up for the betterment of something bigger, something beyond me, because I feel like that pushes your purpose, it pushes your impact. And I'll give you one more. I'd probably say accountability. If me as a point guard, if I didn't know where everybody was supposed to be, and I didn't direct and put them where they needed to be, it was my fault.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So being able to not only hold myself accountable, but learning how to hold others accountable, not in a way of being demonstrative and being disrespectful, but in a way of, like, you know, being able to challenge them and push them and making them, you know, believe beyond what they think. You know what I'm saying? So I think those were three kind of skills that I took from playing the game and just learning from sports, and I feel like that's been able to be applied to my journey, be applied to my situation.
That's dope, man. Man, love these stories, man.
Sure.
Something I want to jump into, you know, as athletes, one of the hardest things I think in transition is like not getting that camaraderie, not getting, you know, that team aspect, or not getting that fan love. Like, we all love, you know, you might go to the mall or go somewhere, like, oh, you dropped collectors last night, woo, 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 woo.
Right.
Like, how do you find that post-sports, like that camaraderie, like that teamwork, or just that feeling that playing gets you?
I think, man, you know, because, you know, when you playing the game, you got to realize, and me and you both can attest to this, you know, when you invest so much of yourself to dedicate, you know, yourself to one thing, that almost kind of becomes your identity.
For sure.
You know, and so being in that element and being around that environment, like you said, of wanting to be around a team and wanting to be around, you know, just that environment that makes you who you are. And when that's removed, it's a struggle to kind of find that, because, you know, when I transitioned to TSU, I stopped playing. I wasn't playing anymore, so I was just strictly going to school. And so I was kind of lost, because I didn't, like you said, I didn't have that structure of, you know, practice and being around, you know, being around my brothers, you know, because you're around your teammates. That's your second family. You know what I mean? So, so I think what helped me, again, I think once, you know, I found what my purpose was, and once I found kind of what my lane was, then it was now, you know, inserting and finding a way to initiate myself into that space to where I was going to have to be around that culture, being around that team environment. And so I think I probably would say, man, if you find, once you find, once you transition from sports to everyday life, now it says, okay, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, this is who I'm gonna be. Okay, now I have to make sure I'm putting myself in a situation to where I'm getting that nurturing, I'm getting that team environment to where I could be able to grow and evolve. And so, and that can be a struggle at times for athletes. It can definitely, it definitely is. And so I think first finding and understanding who you are, and understanding what you really want to do. And so once you do that, I think it becomes easier for you to place yourself and put yourself in that space where you can get those things that the sports arena offers, and then you can be able to apply it and put it to your everyday life situation. So,
cool, man. It's the last question I got for you, Maul. When you hear still balling, like what does that mean to you?
Man, still balling. I'm gonna say, man, still being self, still having that swag, still having that confidence, but just doing it in all platforms, doing it in all arenas of life, not only in your sports but off the court. Just being able to still be you. You know what I'm saying? If you was known as that scorer, you dropping buckets, you get into the money, but now being able to still do that in ways where you can still inspire and motivate and impact people. You know what I mean? So, like for you, for instance, you still balling. You know what I'm saying? But you did that through the game, and it's documented. You know what I'm saying? Because you was real deal. You was cold. You know what I'm saying? I got to show love to little bro. You know what I'm saying? You was cold, but now you still balling because now you're using this platform to really inform, to really encourage and motivate and really pour back into people. You know what I'm saying? And pour back into the sports world, because I think a lot of people, outside when sports is over, they don't know what happens for our mental state after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Because again, our identity is always tied into sports. So you still using the game, but you're using it in another platform, using it in another way. So that's still balling to me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but you know what I'm saying? You still, I feel like you still can get buckets though.
Yeah, I got a couple left.
A couple of buckets.
Couple tucked in the pocket, just in case, man.
Absolutely.
I love it. Coach, can you talk to me about recognizing like talent or pro level talent? Like what does that look like? At what age can you identify that? And like, I know you've been able to identify that and groom and grow that, but just talk to us about like identifying that pro level talent.
I think in that aspect of being able to kind of witness and see and identify that, I think more so, I don't like to quantify it as age-based. And the reason being is because I know we've all seen players that were really good at such a young age, and then they tap out, or their ceiling is hit. I think one is you being able to, you see when you watch a player play, you kind of look at, outside of the skill and things, but I look at the mannerisms, I look at the body language, I look at the small, and the intangibles, the little things that goes unnoticed that you can definitely see from a talent standpoint, but that bad attitude just may cap you from you reaching where you're supposed to be. And so I think, being able to, have the blessing and opportunity to work with pro players such as, Darius Garland, Robert Covington, Jordan Bone, Patrick Miller, list goes on and on. But one thing I will say about those guys, there's a level of discipline and it's a level of focus that they're supremely committed to their craft. So no matter what goes on in life, no matter what is taking place, they're always going to find time and opportunity to make sure that they're putting everything they need to into their games. And so watching kids now, like at an early stage, you can definitely see like the growth. I feel like the game from a growth perspective now, with the resources of having trainers and having so many other different tools to help advance kids at an early age, which is great. But now I think the next step, kids have to understand, being at their pro level is a lot of scouts, they look at the intangibles, they look at the little things. And then too, even with the development aspect, everybody runs their own race.
Yep.
You know, so I'm pretty sure when you watch Damian Lillard in high school, you wasn't thinking that he was going to be a pro. When you watch Steph Curry in high school, you wasn't thinking he was going to be a pro. But they, created that foundation at an early stage, an early age, and over time, they just blossomed, they grew, and they grew. And then boom, you hit college, now you're in college now, you taking your foundation of what you established at a young age, and then now it just gets bolstered because now you got more resources, you got more time, you got everything that's on your side to really just take your game to that point. So I don't like to, just me personally, I don't like to kind of identify that in regards to looking at it at an early age. But like, I'm gonna use Darius for an example. Like, I watched him, when I first started working with him, he was in 6th grade. You can kind of see, like, it was just different when you watched him. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's kind of hard just to pick up on this as one of those things. It's like, there's something different about that kid. But then I really saw and I really knew he was gonna be a pro. Transitioning from sophomore to junior year. And then from but really it really hit, I think, from junior to senior year. There was a transition for him, and there was a level of focus from him. Now, don't get me wrong, he's always been, he's always worked hard. He's always sacrificed and dedicated himself. But it was just something different from junior year to senior year that really bolstered him. And I looked at the transformation of his body, but I also looked at the transformation of his mind. Because now he started to really think and carry himself like a pro in high school. And when I saw that, I'm like, yeah, he's gonna be a pro. Like, yeah, he's gonna be a lottery pick. He's gonna be that good. So I think, for kids, I would say, if you want to be a pro, have that pro mindset, have that pro mentality, but enjoy the game.
For sure.
Like, fall in love with the game, no matter what. Don't ever lose sight of don't ever lose your love for the game, because when you get to that level, it becomes a business. Yeah. And it's so business oriented. And a lot of times when you get to that space, it's easy to get complacent when you're making that type of money. So the greats like Kobe, Mike, all those guys, they never lost love for the game. Even at their highest, even at the pinnacle of their careers, when everything was going their way, they always just had that desire for the game. And that to me, that's what is going to, really separate yourself from the competition, separate yourself from everybody else. So, for sure.
I love it. Dang, I lost my train of thought. Boom, boom, boom. Don't tell me, Pat. Damn, don't say it. Boom. So you go from, for really figuring out what you wanted to be or what you wanted to do, you go through your ups and downs. Talk about an experience or a time that made it real for you. Like, you started out coaching, training, obviously, but now, like, you're a professional level trainer. I would say one of the best in the world and the best in the country. Talk about an experience that made it real for you. Like, I'm here now.
Definitely got to go draft day. Got to go draft day. 2019 NBA draft. The experience of going to New York, being at the hotel with all the draftees, and being around DG, being around Dez and Miguel and Mom, Pop, Garland, and the family, and just, it really didn't hit me, man, until we got on the bus. And and that's, they had multiple buses, but so the first bus was just strictly for the draftees and their families. It was going to be in the green room, and then also they had different shuttles, buses for extended family and stuff. So, but getting dressed, I remember me, Spell, Malone, Spence, we in the room, and we watching ESPN, he was on First Take, Stephen A. Smith. We sitting there, listening to the interview. They talked about, he was talking about, just, who he was as a player and all that. And just kind of just seeing that, it was just, it really, it was just like, I feel like I was in a dream. I feel like this wasn't even, it didn't even feel real at the time. You know what I mean? And so, but yeah, getting on that bus, man, we got dressed, we get on the bus and we just talking, and we sat down and we on our way to Barclays, and I'm kind of just like taking it all in. You know what I mean? So we going across the bridge, and it's just like, damn, like we really here in New York for the 2019 NBA draft. And damn, man, when they called his name, man, and like instantly just cried. You know what I'm saying? And because I feel like I made it through him. You know what I mean? And so that experience, man, it really hit home, and then I think it really resonated more so than anything, just why I was doing what I was doing. Not for the purpose of me, but for the purpose that I was able to pour into this kid's dreams and help him reach something that, truth be told, is one of the hardest things to do in the world.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And then also, too, like, hearing Jordan's name called. You know, Jordan, 58th pick in the draft, and was told that he wasn't gonna get his name called. You know what I'm saying? And just seeing everything from the amount of time and sacrifice that he put in, and everything that him and Josh to really, like Josh really pushed him to a whole different degree. And I remember he came back after sophomore year at UT, and when they lost to Loyola at the buzzer, and he cried. And Josh called me while he was up there with him, and he called me and said, "Look, when we get back, we come to see you. So just get ready. We coming to see you. So just get ready." So that very next day, 6 o'clock in the morning, we're at the gym, and I told him, me and Josh told him, I said, "Look, this is gonna be your last year playing at UT. You're not gonna go back and play your senior year. Like, this is, we put it in layman's terms, we put all our eggs in one basket. So we put all our eggs in that one season, and we just told him, like, look, you're talented enough, you're gifted enough, you got everything that you need to get there. Now it's just a matter of, are you willing to do it? Are you willing to push and get uncomfortable and take yourself to that next step?" So in the midst of celebrating Darius and then watching Jordan get his name called was just as gratifying. So like for that experience, man, of the NBA draft was just like, I feel like I got drafted. But then it even pushed and inspired me even more, because I'm like, I gotta help more names get called. You know what I'm saying? So that was just like, if I can do this, if I can help, two great kids be able to do that, I feel like I can get more. So Gavin 2 that year. So now it's like, okay, I gotta do more than 2. I gotta get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on and so forth. So, but yeah, man, that draft day experience is something I never forget. You know what I mean? So that was probably like the pinnacle of my experience as a trainer, for sure. Yeah.
And I would say that's a testament to who you are. Like you were talking about, you never lose your identity. Like, you've always been a point guard. Like, you've always set up other people for success, and that's continued on to this, man. Yeah. So that's dope to see.
Appreciate that.
Aside from getting players drafted, allowing them to attain their dreams, what are some other things that you've involved yourself in that you're proud of as a trainer, as a mentor, as a coach?
I think the opportunity to help young women be able to play the game and help them put them in school. Our AAU program, Team Brandon Wright, and shout out to Brandon Wright. Be Right has done and created such a big platform for us in regards to helping these young women play the game, because the women's game within itself, number one, is now finally getting the recognition that it deserves, for sure. But at that time, it was very underrated. It was very under the radar. And so, my experience with having to coach girls, I didn't want to do it at first. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't, because I just didn't, how intense I am as a coach, and I'm just like, nah, I'm gonna be too hard on these girls, and they're not gonna be able to handle and respond to my energy. But truth be told, man, that was one of the best decisions I made, because one, it taught me how to deal with girls in that aspect, and nurturing and caring. And then two, like, their ability and their willingness to wanting to run through a brick wall for you as a coach was something that I just admired and I respected. You know what I mean? And so Like we have a lot of talented women basketball players out here, and truth be told, some of these girls out here can kill some of these dudes too. And I'm just gonna put that on the record, you know what I'm saying? So, and I've seen it happen. You know what I mean? I've seen it happen on many occasions. So I mean, we've been blessed to, had the opportunity to put over 200 girls in school, and a lot of them coming from the Nashville area. But now, our platform now is being able to spread and touch the, pretty much the whole state of Tennessee and even in the Southeast region. So I think, man, that level of being able to do that is something that has been profound, and I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed doing that, man. And again, it's for these kids, man, so they get an opportunity to, man, use this game to go get a free education and go beyond. You know what I mean? So some have went on to play professionally overseas, and we still pushing, trying to get that first WNBA player. But we're gonna do that though. It's coming though. It's coming. Yeah, we believe that. You know what I'm saying? So. But yeah, definitely, man, the Brandon Wright program and what B. Wright and Spence has helped, curate and create for the women's game and advocating for the women's game. And B. Wright definitely pulls up to the games and always, talks to the girls. He's pulled at a couple of games and just kind of mentoring and guiding and kind of he into it too. Like he want to win. Like you gonna put your name on his jersey. Like we gotta come back with championships. So. Yeah, so in 2017, we our team ended up being the #1 team in the country.
Wow.
And where we sent all 10 players ended up going to play Division I basketball. So yeah, man. So that's definitely something I feel like has been a blessing to me and being able to do that too. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
Consistently pouring into other people. How can the people follow you, Mal? Like, what can they look forward to from you and AAG and the Brandon Wright team? What can they look forward to?
Man, just we gonna put some stuff together, man. We working on putting together a little skills academy, online skills academy. Obviously, with everything going on with COVID and understanding kids not having the opportunity to have access to gyms and not being able to be in that practice structure, practice environment. So we're currently working on putting the all-around game skills academy together online and via Zoom and things to that degree. But yeah, definitely follow us, man. I'm on IG at AAG Basketball 10, on Twitter at All Around Game 10. And so yeah, we got a lot of big things, we're looking forward to. Some things we're gonna keep on the wraps.
Sure.
We got to keep, confidential because we're working on some things right now. So. And merch coming soon too. We gotta drop some AG merch, man. So y'all be on the lookout for that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna make sure I lace, gotta lace Still Ballin with the fresh AG merch. But yeah, man. So we got a lot of big things moving forward, man, and just more lives to impact, man. We got more work to do.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Just getting started. Getting started, as I like to think. So for sure.
We appreciate you, Mal. Still Ballin', AG.
Yes, sir.
It's a wrap.
We out.